You know, it's funny. I was rewatching Back to the Future Part 2 the other day,
Uh,
and that whole Gray's Sports Almanac thing
right.
really got me thinking.
Yeah.
What if there was like a real life guide,
Mm.
not for sports scores, but for like
Oh.
all the essential knowledge we
Right.
need to like navigate the world these days?
Mhm.
And it's funny because that kind of led me to this interview
Okay.
about this Millennial Pharaoh blueprint ebook
Interesting.
by a company called Who's Lurking Inc.
It is an interesting concept,
Yeah,
like positioning this ebook as almost like a catch-up guide for
right.
Gen Z and millennials. It's
Yeah,
almost like they're trying to create this whole like millennial pharaoh movement.
totally. And they're not just talking about the basics either.
Yeah.
This interview dives into how it covers everything from like
Hmm.
sex ed to finance.
Wow.
And it's all packaged in this really visually engaging infographic style,
Interesting.
like almost like a comic book meets a magazine.
I am intrigued by that format for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Um, a lot of traditional educational materials can be pretty dry.
Right.
So I'm curious to see if this approach actually makes these complex topics more accessible,
Totally.
especially for people who maybe learn best visually.
Yeah, and the creator actually uses the phrase enlightening toolkit
Okay.
for anyone who's feeling like they missed the boat,
Right.
which I think a lot of people, regardless of age,
Yeah.
can probably relate to at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we're constantly bombarded with information these days,
Yep.
but it's not always the most practical or relevant stuff.
Exactly.
So having a resource that really curates and distills that knowledge
Right.
could be incredibly valuable.
Okay, but hold on. Who's Lurking Inc?
Yeah.
The name alone.
I know, right?
I need to know more.
It definitely piques your curiosity.
For sure.
And it's not just a publishing house from what it seems like.
Right.
They describe themselves as like an umbrella corporation
Mhm.
with all these different initiatives.
They even have a millennial pharaoh character
Oh, wow.
who is like their mascot.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
And they're even talking about building
Yeah.
digital and physical infrastructures,
Hmm.
which honestly sounds a little vague,
Yeah.
almost like they're trying to create a whole world around this concept.
It's ambitious.
Okay.
Totally. For sure.
Yeah.
And they're definitely leaning into the branding too.
Okay, how so?
They mention Exotle Trapodice as this powerful female character
Okay.
alongside the millennial pharaoh.
Wow.
And they're using slogans like the millennial pharaoh digital monarch
Interesting.
and who's lurking luxury brand.
Who's lurking luxury brand?
Yeah.
It's bold,
It is.
maybe a little over the top.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
But they're clearly trying to project this image of like an elevated, purposeful lifestyle.
I see.
And you can see how that might appeal to a generation that is striving for success and meaning.
Totally.
Yeah.
So who are the masterminds behind this whole operation?
Well, the interview highlights DeMarlo Javon Edmonds,
Okay.
who seems to be like the strategic visionary,
Uh-huh.
and Javon Koo, who leads like the creative side of things.
Okay.
They really emphasize collaboration and innovation,
Interesting.
which suggests a very deliberate and dynamic approach.
It does make you wonder what their creative process is like,
Yeah.
especially with this unique format.
Right.
Yeah.
And given their emphasis on community,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be fascinating to see how they involve their audience in the
Yeah.
development of their content and their initiatives.
For sure.
Imagine if they crowdsource ideas for future infographics,
Oh, wow.
or even host events where people can connect and learn from each other.
Okay, so we have this intriguing ebook
Right.
that claims to be like this blueprint for navigating the modern world.
Yeah.
We have a company with a very catchy,
Uh-huh.
if somewhat enigmatic name,
For sure.
and a team that seems very passionate about empowering younger generations.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin to unpack all of this?
Well, let's start by taking a closer look at the ebook itself.
Okay.
I mean, they mention it covers essential life skills.
Right.
But what are those skills specifically?
Yeah.
And how do they address them in a way that's actually engaging and helpful?
Right, because let's be honest, we've all seen those dry textbook-style resources that are about as appealing as watching paint dry.
Exactly.
So if they've managed to crack the code on making learning fun and accessible,
Uh-huh.
that's a game changer.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
And that leads to another question.
Okay.
While this ebook is aimed at Gen Z and millennials,
Yeah.
could there be valuable takeaways for those of us who are, shall we say, a bit more seasoned?
That's a great point.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe there are some universal truths or principles
Right.
that can benefit anyone regardless of their generation.
For sure.
Yeah.
And even if we already know, like, the basics, maybe they present it in a way that sparks a new perspective.
Right.
Or a fresh approach.
I think that's what makes this whole deep dive so compelling.
Totally.
It's not just about learning new facts.
Yeah.
It's about exploring different ways of thinking and approaching the world.
Right. And maybe we'll uncover something that truly surprises us.
Yeah.
Something that challenges our assumptions.
Right.
Or opens our minds to a whole new way of seeing things.
Now, that's a journey I'm excited to take.
Me too. So let's dig deeper into this millennial pharaoh blueprint.
Okay.
And see what hidden treasures we can unearth.
Sounds good. It really makes you think about this whole concept of a blueprint, you know?
Right.
It implies a structured plan.
Yeah.
Or like a guide for building something.
Right.
In this case, a more empowered and informed self.
That's a really insightful connection.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's not just about, like, acquiring random bits of knowledge. It's about having this framework for understanding how all those pieces kind of fit together and how we can use them to build a more fulfilling life.
Precisely. And it's fascinating that they've chosen to focus on this idea of essential life skills.
Right.
It suggests that there are these core competencies that are crucial for navigating the complexities of the modern world.
It does make you wonder, though, what they consider to be essential.
Sure.
I mean, everyone has different priorities and needs.
Of course.
What might be essential for one person could be completely irrelevant for another.
Well, the interview does mention a few specific areas.
Okay, like what?
Like sex education, financial literacy, and navigating the digital world.
Okay.
And I think those are pretty universally relevant, especially for younger generations.
Okay, but let's break those down a bit further.
Sure.
What does navigating the digital world even mean in this context? Are we talking about, like, basic internet safety? Or is it something more nuanced, like managing your online presence? Or understanding data privacy?
That's a great question. And unfortunately, the interview doesn't go into a ton of detail. However, they do mention a specific technique from the ebook called the Digital Footprint Detox.
Oh, interesting.
Which encourages readers to assess and potentially clean up their online profiles.
Oh, that's interesting. I've definitely had moments where I've cringed at some of my old social media posts.
Right.
It would be fascinating to see how they frame that in the context of, like, building a positive digital identity.
Yeah, it's not just about hiding embarrassing photos or anything. It's about taking control of your online narrative and presenting yourself in a way that aligns with your values and goals.
Now, on the financial literacy side, I'm curious to see how they go beyond the typical budgeting advice.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all heard about tracking expenses and saving for retirement, but is there anything more innovative or thought-provoking in their approach?
Well, they do mention a concept they call investing in your passion, which encourages readers to view their skills and interests as potential assets.
Oh, that's kind of cool. It shifts the focus from just earning money to thinking about how you can align your financial goals with your passions and purpose.
Exactly. It's about seeing money as a tool for enabling you to live a more fulfilling life, rather than just an end goal in itself.
So we're starting to see a bit more depth to their approach. It's not just about giving generic advice. It's about offering specific tools and frameworks that can help people take action and make positive changes.
And that's where I think the real power of a blueprint lies. It's not just a set of instructions. It's a source of inspiration and motivation.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about this whole Who's Lurking Inc. thing. They're clearly going for this bold and mysterious vibe with the name and the branding. But I'm still a bit fuzzy on what they actually do beyond publishing this ebook.
Yeah, the interview is a little vague on that front. They use the term umbrella corporation and mention building digital and physical infrastructures. But those could mean a lot of things.
It's almost like they're intentionally keeping it a bit cryptic. Perhaps to build anticipation or intrigue. Kind of like they're saying, we're here, we're doing big things. But we're not going to reveal all our cards just yet.
It's definitely a strategic move. And it does make you wonder what their end game is. Are they trying to build a media empire, a social movement, a lifestyle brand, or maybe all of the above?
And what about these characters they keep mentioning? The Millennial Pharaoh and Exotic Trapodice. Are they just marketing gimmicks? Or do they play a more significant role in their overall vision?
Well, remember how we talked about the ebook being a blueprint for personal growth? I wonder if these characters are meant to be embodiments of that ideal, like
yeah.
aspirational figures that readers can relate to and learn from.
That's an interesting thought. It's almost like they're creating a fictional world that mirrors the real-life journey of self-discovery and empowerment that they're promoting.
Exactly. And those slogans they use, like the Millennial Pharaoh Digital Monarch, seem to reinforce that idea of taking ownership and leadership in your own life.
Who's Lurking luxury brand is still throwing me off a bit, though.
I know, it's strange juxtaposition, isn't it?
Totally.
Luxury and lurking don't usually go hand in hand.
Right.
But maybe they're trying to challenge our preconceived notions of what luxury means.
Perhaps they're trying to redefine it as something more than just material possessions.
Yeah.
Maybe something more aligned with personal growth, self-expression, and creating a life that feels authentic and fulfilling.
That would certainly resonate with a generation that's increasingly skeptical of traditional notions of success and status.
Totally. It's definitely making me rethink my own definitions of those concepts.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to see how all these pieces, the ebook, the characters, the branding, the company's mission, might be converging into a more cohesive whole.
Me too. And I'm increasingly curious to see how they translate this vision into tangible actions and initiatives.
Right.
What does it actually look like to build a digital and physical infrastructure around this concept of empowerment?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And maybe the answer lies within the pages of the ebook itself.
Or perhaps it's something that will unfold gradually as Who's Lurking Inc. continues to evolve and expand their reach.
Either way, it's clear that they're on a mission to disrupt the status quo.
For sure.
And offer a fresh perspective on how we can navigate the complexities of modern life.
And that's something worth paying attention to, regardless of which generation you belong to.
Absolutely. So what's the next step in our deep dive?
Well, we've explored the purpose, the format, and the content of the ebook. And we've delved into the mysterious world of Who's Lurking Inc.
Right.
But there's one crucial element we haven't touched on yet.
And what's that?
The creative team behind it all.
You're right. We know their names.
Yeah.
DeMarlo, Javon Edmonds, and Javon Koo. And we know they emphasize collaboration and innovation.
Right.
But what about their backgrounds, their experiences, their motivations?
Yeah.
What led them to create this unique project in the first place?
That's where I think we can glean some really valuable insights.
Okay.
After all, every creation is a reflection of its creators.
Yeah.
And understanding their story could help us better understand the deeper message they're trying to convey.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Let's dive into the minds of the creators.
Okay.
And see what we can discover.
Sounds good. It's fascinating to think about the people behind this whole Millennial Pharaoh concept.
Yeah.
Like we're peeling back the layers of an onion. We go from this intriguing ebook to this ambitious company.
Right.
And now to the actual individuals who dreamt it all up.
Right. We've talked about DeMarlo, Javon Edmonds, and Javon Koo.
Yeah.
But who are they beyond their titles?
Right.
What makes them tick? I'm hoping we can get like a glimpse into their creative process.
Yeah.
Their passions, maybe even their struggles.
Well, based on the interview and some additional digging I did, it seems like both Edmonds and Koo come from pretty diverse backgrounds.
Okay. How so?
Well, Edmonds has a history in tech and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
While Koo's expertise lies in visual storytelling and design.
That's an interesting mix.
It is.
Kind of explains that blend of practicality and creativity we see in their approach.
Yeah.
It's not just about like throwing information at people.
Right.
It's about presenting it in a way that's both engaging and aesthetically pleasing.
Exactly. And it seems like their personal journeys have really heavily influenced this project.
Okay. How so?
Well, Edmonds talks about feeling lost and overwhelmed after college. Like he hadn't been equipped with those essential skills to navigate the real world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That resonates with that whole missed the boat sentiment they use to describe the ebook's target audience.
Right. It's like they're trying to provide the guidance they wish they had received.
And Koo?
Yeah.
What about his experience?
Well, he really emphasizes the power of visual learning.
Okay.
He draws from his own experiences struggling with traditional text-heavy educational materials and believes that incorporating art, humor, and storytelling can make even the most complex topics more accessible and enjoyable.
It's almost like they combine their individual strengths and experiences to create this unique approach to knowledge sharing.
For sure.
So Edmonds provides the strategic vision and the practical insights, while Koo brings that creative flair and visual storytelling expertise.
It's a powerful partnership.
Totally.
And it seems like their shared passion for empowering others is really the driving force behind their work.
They talk about wanting to create a community, a movement that helps people unlock their potential and live more fulfilling lives.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see why they chose the name Who's Lurking Inc. Maybe it's not just about being mysterious, but about challenging this idea that knowledge and power are somehow hidden or exclusive.
Yeah.
Like they're saying, we're here to reveal what's been lurking in plain sight all along to make those essential insights accessible to everyone.
That's a really compelling interpretation. And it ties back to the whole millennial pharaoh concept, which evokes that sense of leadership and self-discovery.
Totally.
It's not about blindly following a set path. It's about forging your own way and becoming the monarch of your own life, as their branding suggests.
You know, it's funny. At first, I was a bit skeptical of all the branding and slogans. It felt a little over the top.
I get it.
But now, understanding the creators' stories and their motivations, it's starting to make more sense.
Yeah.
It's not just about marketing. It's about embodying a certain mindset, a way of approaching the world with confidence and purpose.
And that's what makes this deep dive so much more than just an analysis of an ebook.
Totally.
It's a glimpse into a larger cultural conversation about what it means to be informed, empowered, and successful in the 21st century.
And it all started with a simple interview.
It did.
Who knew we'd end up exploring these deeper themes of knowledge, identity, and personal growth?
Sometimes the most unexpected sources can lead to the most profound insights.
So as we wrap up this exploration, I'm left with a lingering sense of curiosity. We've uncovered so much about the Millennial Pharaoh Blueprint ebook, Who's Lurking Inc., and the passionate team behind it all. But ultimately, the real question is, what will be the impact of this project? Will it actually achieve its ambitious goal of empowering individuals and sparking a movement of self-discovery?
That's a question only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, they've certainly planted a seed. A thought-provoking idea that challenges us to re-examine our own relationship with knowledge and our own potential for growth.
And perhaps that's the most valuable takeaway of all.
I think so.
Because ultimately, the journey of self-improvement is an ongoing process.
It is.
And we're all constantly evolving and learning. Maybe this Millennial Pharaoh Blueprint is just one step along that path. A catalyst for sparking curiosity and prompting us to explore new avenues of knowledge and personal growth.
And who knows what other hidden treasures we might uncover along the way.
Exactly. So for our listeners, if you're intrigued by what you've heard today, we encourage you to explore the Millennial Pharaoh Blueprint ebook and the world of Who's Lurking Inc.
For sure.
You might just discover something that sparks your own journey of self-discovery. And until next time, keep diving deep and never stop questioning, exploring, and growing.
Great advice.